What's good, party people? This is Voodoo in the Woods, where I, along with former U of MMA champion Pius Lobo, but you guys know him as Voodoo Maximus, and we are going to break down. I mean, it's kind of it's bittersweet, right? Because this is the last UFC card of the year. Obviously, last week's UFC 256 was the last pay per view that the UFC has produced, but this is going to be the final UFC branded events of the year, and then we pick back up. I think January 12th or something of that requiem. That's what I'm going with. Yeah, man. So here we are.
Yes, yes,
We,
yes,
we are.
yes. It seems, yeah, it seems the pressure is on these guys. You know what I mean? And we've been watching barn burners all year long. Now we're at that tail end, and these guys, the pressure's on them to perform, to meet up to the expectations of the previous fights, the previous cards. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. And again, we just had a fight of the year contender in Davidson Federato, as well as oh God, why am I blanking? Why am I blanking? Oh, Brandon Moreno. Yes, that was many people had slated that as the fight of the year candidate. Obviously, that's disputable, but I mean, it's crazy that we're here again. So my goodness, like obviously, in terms of like that being the fight of the year, I remember you had a little bit of contention in terms of that assessment of that card. Not to say that that fight wasn't great between Moreno and Davidson Federato, but you mentioned a card that I think a lot of people forget because it actually happened literally a week before quarantine for a lot of us. And what was that? What was that fight? It was another flyweight fight.
That was Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
And Zhang Weili.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Zhang Weili.
And actually, that was strawweight. It wasn't flyweight.
I would say the most technical matchup in women's history. Oh yeah, you're right. It is strawweight. The most technical fight in women's fight in history. That's what I would call it.
I do concur. You get no arguments from me. Not that you would get arguments from me otherwise, but I'm just saying. I mean that I couldn't have said it any better myself. So yeah, this. I mean it's been a wild 2020. Obviously, not just MMA related stuff, but also other related stuff involving not involving MMA in this year of 2020.
That's right, man. That's right. The bottom line is these things are going to happen, and there's nothing we can do about them. However, the only thing that we do have control of is how we adapt or how we react. So you can either sit there and cry, or you can adapt and move on. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Roll with the
absolutely.
punches, as they say. So
I mean,
the choice is yours.
This particular show, Voodoo in the Woods, along with the According to Woods podcast, were almost birthed right out of the quarantine. So I mean, I guess that would be a good outcome of the quarantine kind of scenario. Being able to adapt and yeah, it's
That's right.
I mean, it hasn't been fun, but this has been fun. So yeah, we will look to see what ends up happening in the upcoming year. And nowhere am I saying 2021 is going to be my year, because all those mother truckers that said that about 2020, they need to get a punch in the face. Like, we should just punch them in the face, as well as the people who say the same thing for 2021.
Indeed, brother. Indeed.
Absolutely. But I mean, UFC Vegas 17. Here we are. 17 incarnations of I mean, essential UFC fight nights. And this one is, I mean, it's kicking off with a familiar face to a lot of us in the Southern California region. But before we get into that, we want to go through all of the intended fights for this particular card. So right off the back at 135, there was Draco Rodriguez against Alman Zaba Zahabi, and Zahabi
Hmm.
essentially tested positive for
Zahabi.
coronavirus.
Hmm.
Yes, there we go. And then Misha Kurkunov and Ryan Span, that was nixed because of Misha's injury. Then Bilal Muhammad,
Circular.
yeah. And then Bilal Muhammad versus Diego Lima got scrapped because Muhammad essentially tested positive for COVID. Then Alexandre Pantoja against Manel Cape was pulled because
Hmm.
Pantoja essentially withdrew. Then Tyson Nam versus Matt Schnell, that got pulled for whatever reason at 125. Then we were supposed to originally have Rick Glenn versus Carlton Minus, right? Which actually, let me leave. I'll come back to that. So and then we were going to have Leon Edwards versus Hamza Chimaev, and that was essentially the original main event for this card, and that got nixed because Leon Edwards, again, that dude is like Lemony Snickets in terms of 2020 because he tested positive for COVID. That's in addition to being stuck in England, you know, during the pandemic, having an injury after, Jorge Masvidal, uttered the line of the two piece in a soda and all that jazz and whatever. And he hasn't fought since that London UFC London card. And BT Sport out there in the UK did a phenomenal job in terms of introducing you or reintroducing you to who Leon Edwards is. They went and through this whole backstory of Leon Edwards and everything like that. And that got pushed to the side because he wasn't able to travel to either Fight Island or Vegas to essentially fight. So that happened, right? So and then now he tests positive for COVID. So it's just like, damn, Leon Edwards. I'm not saying he's like the unluckiest guy in the UFC assigned to the UFC roster, but damn, it's pretty damn close, especially for 2020, right? Am I
Yeah,
wrong there?
yeah. You can say he is. You can say that. You can clearly say he is the most unlucky fella that ever come across the UFC, man. I mean, he. It's not that he's not ready to fight. He just hasn't been allowed to fight due to whatever pandemic, slam damn it. Now, the man, because he can't fight, he's losing. He, because he can't fight, he's losing his ranking spot. You know what I mean? He's falling down in the rankings. Now he's there fighting well, he was in line to fight Chimaev, right? But
Right.
I hope 2021 is a better year for my man.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope. Let's hope. Because BT Sport still has that nice shiny package. Well, that didn't sound right, but that promo package is what I meant. On Leon Edwards. So I mean, we will see. We will absolutely see. But yeah, man. So that happened or didn't happen. And then Bilal Muhammad was again supposed to take on Sean Brady, who um, essentially Brady withdrew, and then Muhammad tested positive for COVID. So it's a kind of a double deal. And then Deron Win against Antonio Braga Neto, that essentially got pulled from the card because Braga Neto withdrew. So what I wanted to kind of get back to, because it alludes to the first fight of the night, but it was supposed to be originally Rick Glenn versus Carlton Minus. That was as of this week, as of Monday this week. And essentially, we don't get that because Rick Glenn tested positive for COVID. So again, everybody that's here that tested positive for COVID or had injury, we wish them here at Voodoo in the Woods. We wish them a well recovery, right? But essentially, stepping up on short notice is our friend, former CXF champion. He is the one and only Spartan Christos Giagos, and he steps in on short notice to fight one Carlton Minus. Now, Carlton Minus comes in at 10-2 going into it. And again, as you alluded to, they're coming back down from. I mean, Carlton Minus is a natural 170er, and he's going down to 155. As is Christos Giagos. Christos sports a 17-8 record. Um, Voodoo. I mean, obviously, you have fought on some cards right along with um, with Christos, right? So um, let's get. I mean, give us some backstory.
Um, I believe Christos has cornered people when I fought. I believe that's what it was.
Okay.
And yeah, he's a very good friend of the Flash, Terrion Ware,
Yes.
the other Spartan, Tommy Aaron, and
Yes.
those guys. So he's always around when those guys are fighting because they're all tight. They're a
Vince
team. So
Cachero.
yeah, those guys they're all tight. They're a team. So they move together. They move in a pack, and that's how you. I mean, as a as a team, you're supposed to move in a pack, and they do that. And this is how I met Christos. I really don't know Christos personally. Uh, I believe he was already pro by the time I started. I think that's what it was. But he was always there at all my amateur matches because he almost always had a teammate that was fighting, and he's one of those guys that's always cordial. He says hello. Uh, um, no ego. Very nice guy. No ego. Hello, bye. Nice to meet you. It was always like that with him.
No, absolutely. And you know, especially right now where people are trying to figure things out, and you know, sometimes you take a L in life, but that doesn't dictate where you're going, right? And
Hmm.
Christos is essentially a UFC Lazarus, right? Because
Hmm.
he was there early on in his career,
Hmm.
um, and essentially found his way outside of the promotion
Hmm.
after it was I wouldn't say like disappointing outings. They just made cuts, and he was just one of them, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
he essentially ended up, making his way back with wins in RFA against Karen Darabidian. Which
Hmm.
my goodness, that's not many people can say that.
Hmm.
Literally, like five people could say that throughout Karen's career, 11-5, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Then he made ways in ACB over in Russia, fought in
Hmm.
Russia. I remember
Hmm.
seeing him and Dima, going out to Russia to go fight.
Hmm.
He fights all through ACA, ACB, and then makes his return to the UFC back in
Hmm.
2018. I mean, in a loss, but I mean, it was Charles Oliveira. So, I
Hmm.
mean, none other than Tony Ferguson got bested by Charles Oliveira. So that just shows
Very
you
true.
the level of competition that
Hmm.
Christos is up for, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, yeah, I mean, Christos is, I mean, he's a friend of the show, friend of us all here in Southern
Hmm.
California. But
Hmm.
on the other side of the octagon, we've got one Carlton Minus. Now,
Hmm.
Carlton Minus sports a 10-2 record. Again, coming down from 170 to 155, and his last loss was it was a I mean, his last fight ended up being his last loss as well. Was
Hmm.
that was he got bested by Matthew Smellsberger, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna shout out Smellsberger just because I love that name, Smellsberger, because I always smell burger, which I probably said in the first time that we reviewed this fight, but I digress. So Matthew Smellsberger, he's a veteran of the Alaska fighting scene, as well as I mean, he made iterations in the PFL, right? He fought Rick Story there. He fought Justin Buchholz, which
Hmm.
yeah, those who are in the know, obviously, Justin Buchholz was a long time coach at Team Alpha Male in
Yes.
Sacramento. So,
Yes.
my goodness, like this is, I mean, this is going to be a barn burner. Anybody
Hmm.
that doesn't believe this is going to be a barn burner, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, man. This might be the sleeper hit of the night. I'm not saying that just because my friend is fighting there. I'm just saying both both uh, athletes,
Hmm.
both fighters have something to prove, and I mean they can go into like firefights like no problem. They can finish it quick. Both have KOs, both have submissions in their arsenal. But I mean they've also are not unfamiliar with these 3 round like banger decision deals. So I mean, Voodoo, what do you have?
Well, clearly, Christos has way more experience, being 17 wins and 8 losses. He's clearly got way more experience. And when you look at his record, he's fought top-notch athletes. You know what I mean? Like you've mentioned already. And not to say that Carton Minus is not hasn't faced anyone. He's faced some fair competition as well. But a key note that we need to take note of here is he started off in the welterweight. Now he's coming down to the lightweight. That's going to be significant. 170 to 155 is another 15 pounds, I believe. Yes, another 15 pounds, and that's going to be significant. Now, the question is he properly dieting down, or is he trying to cut muscle weight? This is going to be the question, you know? Um, I am not banking on someone coming down from welterweight and I'm all the way going with Christos because Christos is a comfortable 155er. One, two, he's got more fight experience. Two, and three, he won't be giving up anything. He won't really be giving up anything. But Mr. Minus, on the other hand, he's going to be giving up 15 more pounds. He was already big. Now he's going to be given an additional 15 pounds. And I believe that's going to affect his cardio. So Christos is going to win this one, possibly by unanimous decision, because he is a complete fighter.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going with home team. I'm going with Christos just because that's my dude, man. So shout out to Christos, shout out to the Systems Hawthorne community, and yeah, I literally have Christos the same way, unanimous decision.
Mhm.
Um, I just think it's fun in Christos's background. I mean, his previous fights, he's fought Joe Lewis, not that Joe Lewis, but a Joe Lewis. He's fought uh, he's fought and beat Thor. Now that Thor being Thor
Skanky.
Skanky,
Mhm.
right? But even still, and shout out to Thor and 818 Boxing. But he's beaten Joe Lewis, he's beaten Thor, and a guy named Chris Tickle. Like I shit you not. And also Preston Scarf, like because it's cold, and Preston will probably warm me up. And Preston, for the time that he was fighting, 7-2. So he's not. Oh no, I'm sorry, 13-7. Good lord.
Mhm.
And for whatever reason, his name is. I mean, his nickname is Postal Pete. But anyway, um, Postal Pete Preston's. That's a lot to say. My goodness. Uh, God bless the ring announcers for kind of handling that mouthful, which sound right. Anywho, I got Christos. Spartan versus the Clutch Carlton Minus. I got Christos. So shout out to Christos. Let's go, Christos. Now,
Sparta.
yeah, Sparta. Um, I wish I could kick something, but I have a whole setup and everything, so that might not be wise.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
so we're going up in the card, down in weight, because we have a bout between Cody Durden, who's 11-2-1, number one ranked bantamweight in the world.
Hmm.
91, I'm sorry, 91th. I don't even know how you say that.
90, 91st.
90th, 91st. There you go. Jesus. 90th. Oh, God, I'm dyslexic. Good Lord. But and he is going up against the Brick, Jimmy Flick, 15-5, former
Hmm.
LFA flyweight champion. And this
Hmm.
one, I think, is going to be finished pretty quickly. I actually think that Jimmy Flick, much like he has in his past outings, both en route to the LFA title as well as his debut in the UFC. Well, actually, there was two. So we had him on the Contender Series, and then his first fight in
Hmm.
the UFC,
Hmm.
and all of them were literally
Quick.
like
Hmm.
lightning fast submissions.
Hmm.
So I actually think that's going to happen again. I think Jimmy Flick is going to do some crazy, like, speaking of the Flash, like Flash Jiu-Jitsu, and submit one Cody Durden. And it's good that Cody is good because this was originally supposed to happen. This fight was originally supposed to happen last week, and Durden, I believe, tested positive for COVID. So
Hmm.
now we're getting it here. So I think this is going to be again. This is going to be a fun little fight. I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to end um, in a decision. I think this is going to be a submission, probably first round. That's what I'm going with.
Hmm.
Yeah, first round submission for Jimmy Flick. What say
Yeah,
you, Voodoo?
man. I got to go with the Brick as well. Jimmy the Brick Flick. You know, the man has got his chin wrestling game on point. I know my coach Brian Peterson is gonna be loving this. You know what I mean? This is the type of dude that he loves right here. This Jimmy Flick, the Brick. You know what I mean? Utilizes his wrestling to the utmost, and then when he sees opportunities to strike, ground and pound, he takes it. You know, the man does not leave room for mistakes, and this is why he's so successful. He's currently on a 3-fight win streak, and this is why he puts everything together appropriately. There is no time for nonsense. There is no time for flash. He doesn't do that. He's in there strictly for business, in and out, and he's done. So Jimmy the Brick Flick, I'm going with him as well to win this one. Also by submission.
There you go. Smart man. Smart man. So, and again, this by no means or stretch of the imagination is putting down one uh, Cody Durden, but it's just the grappling aspect of Jimmy Flick. He has a way of asserting his dominance on his last three opponents that I don't think have been seen in a while. Definitely in the flyweight division. So that's what I'm going with. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a consensus pick. The Brick, Jimmy Flick,
Mm-hmm.
by submission. So we will see if we're right or if we're wrong come Saturday night. But
Indeed.
my good, so I'm gonna have Voodoo go ahead and pronounce the next set of combatants here, and this is not going to be the first time this is going to happen because obviously Voodoo is a lover and a pronunciation person of all things. And again, four name pronunciation classes by Voodoo for 99.99.99 or four payments of 499.99. And again, Christmas is coming, or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or one of those things that you probably want to shell out a bunch of money for. But guess what? We have you figured out because you could be a small town simpleton, but guess what? With Voodoo's foreign name pronunciation class, you will sound like a world traveler. You will sound like Gulliver, damn it. Like Absolutely. So again, I mean, Lewis and Clark will have nothing on you. You will see uncharted land, and you will have the world in your hand. So again, for name pronunciation classes by Voodoo for 99.99.99, or for easy payments of 499.99. And guess what? We don't take credit. He don't take no credit.
Oh man, that was funny. Now coming to the stage, coming to the stage is your Cameroonian. His name is Tafon the Don Nchukwi. The man has been flawless in his MMA career. He decided to try this MMA thing, you know. In his first fight, he knocks the dude out in the first round. In the second, oh, by the way, as an amateur, he knocked him out in the first round. The second guy, Kevin something, referee stoppage due to strikes in the third. In his third fight, Stephen Tanner, referee stoppage due to strikes in the first round. Now he's like, man, I'm running through folks. These guys are too easy. Let me get paid for this. So he went up to CFFFC, in which he knocks out his opponent, Alex Meyer. He goes up to the next guy, Shogun Fights 23. Somebody named at McCowan KOs the guy in the first, and then now he's at CFFC again, 80 KOs William Knight, and then he gets his shot at the contender series, in which he head kicks Al Matoval, knockout, head kick in the second round. And now he's got Jamie Pickett. Jamie Pickett for his first fight in the UFC. Jamie Pickett is 11-4. So Flawless Dawn versus Jamie Pickett. What's Jamie Pickett, the Night Wolf? What's Jamie, the Night Wolf Pickett, bringing to the table? Well, Jamie started off he's got lots of amateur fights. He's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 amateur fights. He lost 3 of them and he won most of them, right? Now he goes pro. He lost his first pro fight, won the second one against Brian McGinnis by KO. He lost to Josh Williams, and then he went on a win streak. He went on a 2, 4, 6 fight win streak. Then he lost to Charles Bird by arm triangle. And then he went on a 2-fight win streak. Then he lost to Punahele Soriano by unanimous decision. Then he went on a 2-fight win streak. When he went to the contender series, he won by knockout. He beat Patty by knockout. Now he's got the Teflon Don, Nchukwi. Now, Nchukwi is a devastating puncher. If he hits you, if he kicks you, if he hits you with anything, he's going to do some damage. He's going to do some damage. Now, the Night Wolf, Jamie Pickett, he's won by strikes as well. KO, KO, ground and pound KO, strike, 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 no submission. So when you have a fight like this, it's going to be a war of attrition. It's going to be like one of those Rambo movies, you know, when Rambo he goes through the movie and then he faces that one guy that's the big Russian or the big, you know, that one opponent that's formidable. This is what you're going to see here. Even though Tafon is not the most skilled, most experienced is what I meant to say. Not the most experienced, fight experience. What he brings to the table is going to be formidable, right? He's number 1 in Virginia, and Jamie Pickett is number 6 in the U.S. West. Jamie Pickett has been in the game a lot longer, which is why he is number 6. I believe if Tafon would have been fighting as long as Jamie, then his ranking will be a lot higher. From what I've seen, I'm very impressed with the young man Tafon, the Don Nchukwi. I believe he's gonna carry on with his undefeated ways. He's going on to 5-0. Possible knockout in the third. I see it. See, there's this thing about people who struggle in their life. They tend to be more tough. They tend to be tougher than those who've had, you know, an easier way, because they've never really faced that adversity, right? When you have to figure out how you're going to eat, or if you're going to eat, that puts a certain level of toughness in an individual. And the Don, he's been through this, you know. That's why his mother left Cameroon to to give him a better opportunity at survival. Now Tafon, he's he's got his mom, his brother, and his other siblings to care for now. You know, it's like a father and his children. Only he's a sibling fighting for the family. And you know what happens when people have to fight for their family. The rest is easy. Not to say Jamie Pickett has nothing to fight for. What I'm saying is, if, even if Jamie is from the hood, even if he's from the hood, the south central of wherever he's from, even if he's from there, it's still not as tough as Africa. I know that for a fact. I've lived it. Cameroon ain't no joke. That's why Francis Ngannou ran away. You know what I mean? That's why he risked his life crossing the deserts of Africa, crossing the oceans to get to France, serving jail time in France for being an illegal. You know what I'm saying? Then stay where they're at. You know what I mean? So I believe Tafon has got this on his side, and it's gonna be kill or be killed with this young man. And I don't know if Jamie Pickett is ready to die. So I'm going with Tafon to win this one by knockout by the third round.
Jesus, ready to die. Ooh, damn. I'm not ready to die. Damn it. That's why I went and walked the dog this morning. We're all across Atwater Village. My goodness. Jesus Christ. Yeah. I'm not ready to die. I got too much to live for. But I'm going to go with Tafon. Because of what yes. Yeah. I think that's what Charo said back on the Love Boat. Coochie coochie. Yeah. Right? So I'm just saying. So shout out to Charo and shout out to Tafan because I'm not backpacking across Africa to Europe and then getting jailed like Francis Ngannou, which also is about the Tafan. And Tafan sounds like Teflon, and nothing is going to stick to the Teflon Don Tafan. Holy shit, I tuned into my dad. Ugh, okay. My dad used to rap, and I'm a 55-year-old man doing all I can. That's the shit that the senior Woods used to do. So shout out to my dad, and shout out to Tafan, the Teflon Don, and he will become victorious, and he will literally, I think he'll picket Jamie's path to victory. He's going to say, no, you didn't. He will not go. He will not go. And he will not go to the literally the victory winner, the paycheck window, and collect that $50,000 check. I think Tafan, he might actually get knocked out of the night. How about that? I'm going to put that there.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
All right, Nate Diaz. Cool. Right on. Yeah, man. So yeah, we've got Tafan by KO. I'm just gonna put a second round. Let's say the second round. That's it, because I don't want to count out Jamie just yet. But I'm just saying, Tafan's it. Now we go up in the card, right? Because we have the one and only Deron Wynn, and he's going up against Antonio Arroyo. And Deron Wynn, the first time I heard of Deron Wynn was that much maligned Golden Boy card at the Forum when Oscar De La Hoya basically took shots at Dana White, and essentially the atrocity that was that MMA card. It happened, yes, absolutely. Chuck couldn't have been nicer to me, so I'm just saying. So, as is all of the people in the card. That card was filled with friends. I wish my friends would have gotten paid better, but I digress, right? But that was the first time I heard of Deron Wynn, and especially the fact that he is now, he's an Olympic caliber wrestler. I think, didn't he win the Olympics? Something like that?
I don't know. I
know that he was like more highly touted than DC, even within the AKA kind of family. And I know he didn't initially started training there, but he's there now. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they tout Deron Wynn as like the one to watch, and he
Mm-hmm.
obviously is getting the tutelage, from DC, from
Mm-hmm.
Kane, from obviously Habib when he's there, so
Mm-hmm.
Josh
Mm-hmm.
Thompson is there,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just saying Deron Wynn is probably like a sponge, and he comes in
Mm-hmm.
6-2 against Arroyo's 9-3 record. Arroyo being from Brazil, he is I mean, he's not a newcomer to the sport of MMA, nor the UFC, because he
Mm-hmm.
made his UFC debut back on the Contender Series, right, where he wins. He beats Steven Regman by
Yes.
the second round arm triangle choke,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
he loses his promotional debut against Andre Muniz. So
Mm-hmm.
I know that he wants to pull up a win, but that's going to be very, very hard, very difficult, because you have literally the person that is keeping you from a win that has Win in their nickname, in Deron Win. So I think Deron Win is going to score a unanimous victory win over Antonio Arroyo. But what say you, Peter?
Um, I totally agree with that. I totally agree. Even though Deron Wynn is what? He's approximately 5'6".
Yeah,
Yeah, he's yeah, 5'6". He's 5'6", 190 pounds or so. You know, he's a big dude. He's really thick, really, really thick.
no, he is. He's a
Solid, he's solid
yeah.
muscle. Yeah, he's going up against a 6-footer. Now, for 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 Antonio to beat him, Antonio has to be a very good striker. When I say very good striker, he's got to have a Muay Thai base. You know what I mean? His knees have got to be on point. His elbows got to be on point. Because understand that this 5'6" Darren Wynn is going to be going for that takedown. You know, his base is wrestling, right? Even though Darren Wynn, he's only lost by arm triangle and unanimous decision. So he's susceptible. He's susceptible to being submitted. He's susceptible to being submitted, but his wrestling is superb. His wrestling, I take that back. He lost by rear naked choke in the third against Gerard Mearchard or GM3, the guy that got
Mhm.
knocked out by one punch when Hamzat hit him. But anyways, I'm also gonna go with win to win this one because it's a win-win situation for no, it's a win or get lost situation for him because he's got two back-to-back losses, and I'm sure if he loses one more, he's out of there. You know, so I don't think he's gonna be risky. He's gonna play. He's gonna risk this particular one. I think he's gonna be scientific. He's gonna be he's gonna be he's gonna try his absolute best to make no mistakes. Right. So that means he's gonna be it's gonna be a heavy wrestling fight. It's gonna be one of those fights that you're not going to like. You know, you will have to be my coach to like a fight like this. You know, um, um, Win is gonna win. Win is gonna win by unanimous decision because he's going to dominate. He's gonna control the clock. Let's put it that way. He's going to control the clock and he's going to turn his losing streak around and buy himself at least one more fight in the UFC. So I'm going with Win to win this one. He's going to be 10-3.
Well, I kind of subscribe to the Dana White's looking for a fight type methodology, in the sense that just because you win doesn't necessarily mean that you will secure your place on the roster. Obviously, Dana White famously has said in the last couple weeks that there was going to be a bloodbath in terms of cuts that were going to be made. The following week, if not that same week, we basically got the word of the antitrust lawsuit going against the UFC. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this is going to shake out, but even if he wins, if he's not dominant, if he's not uh, stellar in terms of his application and wooing. I mean, just essentially taking it out of the judge's hands. If that doesn't happen, he could still, even with a win, find himself outside of the promotion. So, yes, it is a must win for a win. And I love how many win references that we got on, um, whether that
Well,
be conspicuous or not. But I mean, it happened. So, win for unanimous decision. Hell, I would like to see him do it. Nah, let's do submission. Like, let's do some fucking fancy weird shit. He's a grappler, so I want to see submission. I want to
win,
see. Yeah, win.
win.
I'm not saying it'll happen.
Yeah, I would like to see it too, but it's not gonna happen. What you're gonna see is ground and pound. When you look at the people he surrounds himself with, the Khabibs, all them Dagestani, the Dagestanis, they thrive on suffocating and grinding you out. This is what he's gonna bring to the table. He's gonna be going against Antonio, a jiu-jitsu artist from Brazil. Uh, Arroyo is gonna be comfortable on his back, right? Darren is going to be comfortable in the mount or in dominant position. So dominant win for Darian win. That's what's going to happen. He's going to pound him out. There's going to be a lot of jiu-jitsu escapes and all that too. You're going to see triangles and all these attempts from underneath. But Darian is going to win by dominating ground and pound. That's what it's going to be. I don't think he'll be able to stop Antonio Arroyo, but he will control the clock so much that it's going to be unanimous.
Okay, I like it. I mean, I actually think that you're going to be. I I I, I think you're going to be right. I think you're right in your assessment. Just for me, knowing what's on the line, at somebody's job or not job, because Dana White has said this is not a job, this is an opportunity. So that his opportunity isn't thwarted by his lackluster performance. So I want to believe that Deron Wynn knows the situation that he's in, and he doesn't do a Habib. He doesn't do the lay and pray style. I could be absolutely wrong. It hasn't been the first time, and it will definitely not be the last time. But I want to see Wynn finish. That's what she said. So there you go. There you go. So I mean, we will see. We will definitely see. But I guess we're moving up in the card because we have somebody that, again, another introduction for Voodoo because he's great at such things. Uh, but what I will do is I will put the names on the gimmick here. But we have
In the next bout, we have Carl Baby K. Robertson. Carl Baby K. Robertson. He's been around since 2013. He won the gold. He had a very successful amateur career. At least 5 people turned down fights against him. So he fought 3 times. He fought the same guy twice. Then he became a pro. He won 2 straight. Then he lost 3 straight. Then he won 4 straight. Then he lost. Then he won. Then he lost against Glover Teixeira by arm triangle. He lost to Cesar Ferreira as well by arm triangle at UFC 224. So the man's been in the UFC for quite some time, since 2017. He joined the Contender Series in 2017, and he's been thrown to the wolves ever since. Cesar Ferreira is a tough guy to fight. Glover Teixeira is another tough guy to fight. And he's been in the UFC since 2 fights. And then the last loss was against Marvin Vittori at UFC Fight Night back in July. And he lost by rear naked choke. So the man is susceptible to submissions. He's a good striker, but he's susceptible to submissions. And then we have on the other side, the champ. We have Docha, champ, Lugiambula. Where's the man from? I think he's from Republic of the Congo. Yeah, Republic of the Congo. So this man here, clearly no amateur career. Like I said, when you come from when you come from hunger. There's no time for amateur, So the man he fought at EFC Africa, 30, 34, 35, 39. Then he lost to Norman Weasel, EFC Worldwide 42. Then he went back on a win streak all the way until he got his UFC entry. Now he's at UFC on ESPN3, in which he beat Daquan Townsend by left cross. And then he lost to Magomed Ankalaev, front kick to the face. I remember this very, very, very vividly.
Absolutely, me too.
Yeah, never underestimate your opponent. He underestimated that kick, and that kick took his head off. Now he's fighting against Carl Robertson. So what we have here is two fellas who are gonna bang it out. But understand, the African, he's got an armbar win. He's got a rear naked choke win. So understand that he will strike with his hands until he sees the opportunity to take his opponent down and control him via ground and pound. And if he cannot finish him via ground and pound, if he's able to get his opponent to turn his back, he will take that rear naked choke and he will put it in. Carl Robertson is going to get submitted no later than the third round. I see it happening in the second, but he could very well make it into the third round. So Carl Robertson, he has no ground game. Baby K has no ground game. And this is going to be his downfall if he doesn't get the knockout right away. So I am going with Dolce Lugiambula to win this one by submission in the third.
Shout out to my family out in Fiji, because they'll probably be disappointed that I didn't get. I mean, the greeting for hello, right, in Fijian is literally bula, right? But we don't put anything in front of it unless it's a sign of respect, right? Like a Nissan bula is what we will say if you are a dignitary, a notable, a person of honor, right? So we will say Nissan bula. We don't, but Nissan bula, that's like literally 5 letters. There's like 80 in front of bula in this particular instance. So just saying that is my that's my defense, and I'm sticking to it. But and shout out to Fiji, because they unfortunately had a horrible weather condition. I believe it was a cyclone that happened overnight. So again, shout out to Fiji, Nisamula, and I hope everyone's okay there. But he's got Bula in his name, so I'm going to go with Bula. There you go.
Right?
Yeah, that's it. Bula. That's what I can pronounce. That's all I got. That's pretty much it. Yeah, so we got Bula for the KO, right? Or did you say submission?
Yep. Yeah, submission.
Okay. Bula with the submission. Mm-hmm. He's going to be like, Bula! And then like grab your arm unceremoniously and contort it in ways that you never thought possible and would make your mom blush, is what we're saying. So just, yeah. So then we're moving up in the card, down in weight. We've got a women's bantamweight contest versus, I mean, it's essentially going to be 13-5 Penny Banzai Kinazat, and she goes up against 6-5 Sajara Eubanks. Jesus Louises. This is a linear one because according to Tapology, Penny is essentially 14 ranked women's bantamweight in the world, and Sajara is currently the number 15th. So this is essentially just a kind of a linear thing, right? In terms of them fighting, right? It kind of just makes sense, right? We're not battling for top 15 contention because both of them are in the top 15 essentially, and then we're not going for like title shots after this. Like, you know, both ladies essentially have at least 2, if not 3 wins before they will even sniff the title picture, right? So, with that all being said, let's let's break down Penny because Penny essentially has the most experience in this particular instance, and she has wins a decision win over Betch Correa because
Mm-hmm.
why not? Jessica Rose Clark, she lost to Julia Avila, the Raging Panda.
Mm-hmm.
She lost to Macy Chiasson, former Ultimate
Mm-hmm.
Fighter winner, and yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that's and a loss in Invicta to Sarah Kaufman and Tanya Evinger, right? Now we look at the
Mm-hmm.
other side of the spectrum in Sajara Eubanks. Sajara, we first became aware of her on a notable run. I think she was on that same the Ultimate Fighter. Yes, she was on that same Ultimate Fighter as Patty. So this is an
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate Fighter kind of alum clash of styles,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, why not? I love that. I love that. Right? Because we've got
Mm-hmm.
obviously Lauren Murphy. She's in the title picture. Perennial title contender Roxanne Modafari. We've got
Mm-hmm.
obviously Thug Rose Namajunas. So I mean
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of a historic run, but she had up until this year had a kind of like literally lopsided record, more losses than wins, and then
Mm-hmm.
an extended sabbatical because
Mm-hmm.
essentially she hadn't fought since she lost to Betch Correa back in
Mm-hmm.
2019. That was September
Mm-hmm.
2019, right? And then also
Mm-hmm.
lost to Aspen Ladd earlier in the year in May of
Mm-hmm.
2019, right? But she comes back roaring with a vengeance. She literally
Mm-hmm.
almost a year to the day, almost a year to the day,
Mm-hmm.
right? She loses to Aspen Ladd May 18th, 2019, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she
Mm-hmm.
comes back and beats Sarah Moras, Sarah
Mm-hmm.
Moras
Mm-hmm.
on the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
On the
Mm-hmm.
13th of May 2020, right? So literally like
Mm-hmm.
5 days, 360 days after her first of two losses, she basically wins, right? And then she gets matched up again, almost a year to the date of the last loss to West Korea that occurred March 21st, 2019, and then March. I'm sorry, September 21st, 2019. And then she essentially beats Julia Avila September 12th, 2020. So, I mean, literally, this has been a Cinderella esque story. Obviously, she lost to Kathleen Vieira, but again, a lot of people swore the Lloyd Irvin uh, pupil, Sajara
Mm-hmm.
Eubanks, they pretty much swore her off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she goes in against Patty Kinyazad, and my goodness, this is going to be a dogfight. Both athletes are going to give no quarter at all. So I got to know who you got, Voodoo.
Well, whew, man, this is gonna be a tough one for the Swedish lady. Banzai, Penny Banzai Kianza. It's gonna be tough for her because the Saw just turned a leaf, a new leaf. She. I don't know what it was when she was gone for that year, the year you just described, but she came back. She came back a whole different person, man. She came back in such a way that she changed my opinion of her. You remember,
Yep.
right? That fight against Sarah Moras, I picked against her, and the way she won, it was so beautiful that I vowed never to pick against her again. And I will keep that promise in this particular matchup. I believe the Sarge is going to be the better striker in this match. The Sarge has enough takedown defense and ground game such that if it does go to the ground, she will get back up and she will go right back to piecing up her opponent. the panda, what the Penny Kianzad or whatever, Banzai. Banzai is gonna get toe tagged by unanimous decision. She's not gonna get knocked out, but she will get toe tagged.
No, I agree. This. It's gonna be a dogfight. This one is definitely going to be a dogfight. I don't think either because they're both more than adequate on the ground. They both hit like trucks, right? But they both have technical striking and technical jiu-jitsu. So this is in terms of like matchmaking, this fight makes the most sense. I'm not saying
Yes.
that other fights on the card don't make sense, but this one fight it makes the most sense. Even booking Sajara Eubanks literally a year, almost to the day of her respective losses and or what have you,
Mm-hmm.
whether they
Mm-hmm.
intended for it or not. To me, it makes for a story that a lot of people are picking up on. And again,
Mm-hmm.
I think Penny is essentially in the way of destiny. So I
Yes.
too am going to pick Sajara Eubanks. She might even be a submission. I say third round submission. Why the hell not? She's
I
a
wouldn't
lot.
be surprised.
I mean, she's. Lloyd Irvin. Lloyd Irvin
Mm-hmm.
is, the person who brought her to jiu-jitsu. So,
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the nastiest and gnarliest of black belts in the Northeast. So, shout out to Lloyd and the crew there. So, I picked Sajar, probably submission, third round submission.
Most def. Most def. I'm with it. I'm with
Yeah,
it.
man. So, speaking of things that we are with, this is going to be a crazy, crazy fight. We have former UFC champion Anthony Showtime Pettis versus Alex Morano,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the tail of the tape goes like this: we have Pettis, who's 23-10, stepping in to the octagon on Saturday, and he's going up against an equally impressive record of 18-6 of Alex
Mm-hmm.
Morano. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Alex, the Great White Morano,
Mm-hmm.
is coming off of a win over Reese McKee, but he
Mm-hmm.
lost to Chaos Williams. But
Mm-hmm.
prior to that fight with Williams, he was on a three-fight winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those basically being placed by Keenan Son
Mm-hmm.
in at UFC Fight Night 141, Zach
Mm-hmm.
Otto at UFC on ESPN Plus 4, and then Max Payne Griffin at
Mm-hmm.
UFC on ESPN Plus 19.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then loses to Chaos Williams and then gets it back, beating Reese McKee by unanimous decision. Now,
Mm-hmm.
let's go to the former champ and Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis, oh my goodness. He's looked pretty well, but a lot of people kind of slept on him
Mm-hmm.
because he was. There were checkers all throughout his record. He lost to RDA. Obviously, he lost the title to Rafael dos Anjos
Mm-hmm.
in March of 2015. Then he
Mm-hmm.
lost again to Eddie Alvarez, former Bellator and UFC champion. Loses in 2016. Then loses against Edson Barboza. Um, yeah, by unanimous decision. Beat
Mm-hmm.
Charles Oliveira, but loses to Max Holloway. Wins against Jim Miller. Then loses to Dustin Poirier. Win win over Michael Chiesa.
Mm-hmm.
Submission. He finished Chiesa by submission, which a lot of people can't say that they've done. But then loses to Tony Ferguson. But again, that's Tony Ferguson, right? Put some
Mm-hmm.
respect
Mm-hmm.
on that man's name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he beat Stephen Wonderboy Thompson
Mm-hmm.
in 2019 with a Superman punch. We all remember
Mm-hmm.
that. But
Mm-hmm.
then loses to Nate Diaz last year. Then loses to Diego Fiera. And then he wins his most recent fight against Donald the Cowboy Cerrone. And that happened in May of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much what we've got here.
Mm-hmm.
Geez, what say you? Because I think at this point, if this was 5 years ago, it would be Team Pettis all the way, right? But
Yes.
obviously, you know, whether it be the evolution of the game, which is weird to say because in terms of evolution and revolutionary skills attributed to MMA, that Anthony Pettis, as well as his brother Sergio, and literally like everybody out at Rufus Sport. We've
Mhm.
got Jesus. There's folks in Bellator
It's too
that
many.
yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people, right? So my goodness, to me, this seems a little bit even, right? Alex Morano now and Anthony Pettis now. This seems to
Hmm.
be even, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but what say you?
Well, for those of you who don't know Anthony Pettis, the man has been a professional since 2007. He fought for gladiator cage fighting, and he did that all the way up until 2008, and then he joined with the WEC. Now, WEC was back in 2009, was was the only one to have a lightweight division. The UFC didn't have a lightweight division, you know, and he won the lightweight division. He won the championship in the lightweight back then. He beat Benson Henderson for that, with a beautiful display of this kick off the cage that they dubbed the Showtime kick.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, then he came over to the UFC. Actually, the UFC bought the WEC, and all those fighters and their contract rolled over to the UFC, and he's been with the UFC ever since 2011. All right, he lost to Clay Guida, but you know he's beaten Jeremy Stevens, Joe Lozon, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, like you mentioned, Benson Henderson twice, Gilbert Melendez. You know what I mean? He's fought Rafael dos Anjos, Eddie Alvarez, Edson Barboza, Charles Oliveira, Max Holloway, Jim Miller, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chiesa, Tony Ferguson. Man, the man, he's fought the who's who in the sport, and now he's got Alex Morano. Alex Morano, the Great White, he's coming. He's coming up. Is he good? He's good. He's good, but I don't think he's dynamic. He's good, but I don't think he's dynamic. He's precise, but I don't think he's dynamic. I believe I believe Anthony Pettis is still evolving. Anthony Pettis comes from Taekwondo, and because of Taekwondo, he he was privileged to excellent footwork to start off his career, right? So he doesn't have to learn excellent footwork. So when the dynamic age is now here, he's been dynamic all along. You know what I mean? He's had dynamic movement all along. Now, for him to transition and become a complete dynamic striker, it was easy for him because he's always done that type of movement anyway. So what you have is classic martial arts coming into MMA and becoming mixed into MMA, and he's always been that. He's a second degree Taekwondo black belt, so he's always had dynamic movement, dynamic kicks and punches. You know what I mean? He went up to the 170 pound, he thrived. He comes back down now to the 155, and he's facing this young man. Um, he might not knock out Alex Morano, but I believe he's gonna beat Alex Morano with dynamic movement and controlling where the fight takes place. He's going to beat Alex Morano by at least by split decision.
There you go. Shaman Steve says, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, Shaman Steve.
What's up,
Thank
Shaman?
you thank you for joining us, good brother." So I actually will will disagree with you,
No problem.
and the only reason why I say, and it's not to say that Pettis, I love everything that you said, and I think it's absolutely true. Pettis was ahead of his time in many ways, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
the names that you mentioned, right,
Hmm. Hmm.
that Pettis has fought,
Hmm.
those were dogfights,
Hmm.
right? Those, I mean, you don't come away with stepping out of the cage from Tony Ferguson, Eddie Alvarez,
Hmm.
Michael Chiesa, like
Hmm.
literally, like all the people that you mentioned, that took a little bit away from him,
True.
I think, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
his chin isn't where it used to be,
Hmm.
especially that fight with Cerrone.
Hmm.
This is an aging Cerrone, but I mean, they both piece each other up. So I just, to me, I just think that, I mean, literally, it would have to be a Showtime-esque kick or whatever, like a flash knockout. Because
Mm-hmm.
if once his chin gets tested, if it doesn't get tested here in this particular bout, he's making a run for the title in that division, and it's going
Mm-hmm.
to, right? And that, I think
Mm-hmm.
that would thwart it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I would just smoke and mirrors
Mm-hmm.
whatever until you get that title shot. There's a reason why
Okay.
Jose Aldo said, "I'm not doing another 5 round fight unless it's
Mm-hmm.
for a title," right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Th- that's it, and
Mm-hmm.
especially guys of that era. And it's weird to say because, like, to call them aging fighters because they're both like in their mid to late 30s, right? I think
Yes.
38 is where both Aldo and Pettis are.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, that's, like you said, Pettis has been a pro since 2007,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's
Mm-hmm.
literally what, 13 years
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
fights.
Mm-hmm. But
And again, yeah,
there's an important point that you're missing here. I'm gonna run through all of Pettis' loss from the very first one. He lost to Bart Plazinski, split decision. He lost to Clay Guida, unanimous decision. He lost to Rafael Dos Anjos, unanimous decision. Eddie Alvarez, split decision. Edson Barboza, very, very dangerous striker, unanimous decision. Max Holloway, he lost by punches in the third. He was overwhelmed by strikes and he covered up. He wasn't
right,
knocked out. He lost to Dustin Poirier, he hurt his rib. He lost to Tony Ferguson, cut, broken hand, right?
right,
Bleeding all over the place like a stuck pig. He lost to Nate Diaz, unanimous decision. He lost to Diego Fiera, rear naked choke. Not once has the man been knocked out. So when we talk about his chin, I think his chin is still solid. I will bet money on his chin.
okay. I'm just saying the totality of all of those wars, right?
Yeah,
All of them,
accumulation. You're
yeah.
right. Hmm.
So that's the only thing. And again, I'm a fan of Pettis. Like, I bought the Wheaties, when he was on the cover because, I'm all in. I've interviewed his brother Sergio,
Hmm.
his teammate Rafion Stotts. Man,
Hmm.
Rick and Duke Rufus are essentially, aside from Joe Schilling, the
Hmm.
greatest, kickboxers that we have ever produced as a country of
Yes.
America. I would put, Benny the Jet there as well, right? Those are the
Yes.
top four. When
Yes.
we're talking about American, kickboxing, Muay Thai, what have you,
Yes.
the
Yes.
Rufus brothers,
Hmm.
Benny the Jet, and Joe
Yes.
Schilling. Those are the
Yes.
greatest that we've ever, this country have ever expelled to the world, right? So,
Yes.
with
Yes.
that all being said, this is not a slight on Anthony or
Hmm.
that crew at all. I just
Hmm. Hmm.
think that we've got a younger gun here, and those bullets are damn silver, and if
Okay.
Pettis thinks he's a vampire, there's a damn silver bullet named Alex Morano that says different.
I I I I like this one right here. I like the fact that you chose Alex Morano. I like it. But I'm sticking with Pettis. I'm sticking with Pettis.
Absolutely.
Alex Morano is a very good fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's very, very experienced fighter. It just so happens that he's not dynamic. He doesn't do spin kicks. You know what I mean? He's not
I agree.
dynamic yet. He's not dynamic, and those spin kicks that I just talked about is gonna pay dividends in this particular matchup. Mark my words.
Oh man, I want to mark that, seal it with a D, because again, I want to wash my mouth out the fact that I bet against or picked against Anthony Pettis. He is one of my favorites. Like, great guy. I couldn't say, like, and I hope I'm wrong. I
Mhm,
absolutely vehemently hope I'm wrong in my pick. I
mhm.
really do. I hope Voodoo's right and I'm wrong. Like, I've never, I I will never be more uh, with being wrong in my life than I will be should Anthony Pettis win, because I want Anthony Pettis to win. I want him to make another run for the title, and I want him to win a title in a different division. Why the fuck not? Because
But
so
I do like your pick. I like your pick, and I like why you picked Morano. Morano is an up and coming fighter. He's got years left in his MMA career. It's a good safe pick. It's a good safe pick. But I still think Anthony has that ability to level up one more level. You know what I mean? He's got the capabilities to reach the dynamic level. I think he's there right now. You know what I mean? And the fact that he gets to train with the type of people that he trains with, especially his coach is ever evolving. You know what I mean? Ever since his coach's brother got kicked by that tie, that changed
Yeah.
their lives forever.
Yes.
It changed their.
I love that you brought that up. Yes.
It changed
100%.
their.
I mean, the Rufus brothers thought they were hot shit, and they hit that fucking tie. That tie hit fucking Rick like a motherfucker. And shit just changed. That was like the damn, fucking psilocybin. That tie. He might as well have been named psilocybin because he fucking rewired both of the Rufus brothers' brain in that one fight. I love that you mentioned that. Never forget. Hashtag never forget. Jesus Christ.
Anthony's coach was like, hey, what's the big deal about those kicks anyway? What's the big deal? He found out. His brother paid the price. You know
Hell
what I mean?
Yeah. Shout out to Rick Rufus, man. That dude was never the same after that, man.
And guess what? Now he subscribes to the leg kick heavily. So expect lots of calf kicks, thigh kicks, liver kicks, switching stance. You know what I mean? Spinning kicks. This is what Anthony Pettis. See, a guy like Alex Morano is gonna bring that style out of Pettis. You know what I mean? He's gonna force it out of him and force him. Oh, you think you can do this? Now check this out. Oh, you think you can do this, Alex? Now check this out. I've been doing this before you even came around. So this is the type of fight you're gonna see. It's gonna be high pace, very exciting. It's gonna be like kickboxing. It's going to be like a kickboxing match. Yeah, you will see some clinching here and there, but primarily you're going to see high pace, high quality striking with Pettis edging him out a little bit, just a little bit.
I like it. No, that's a solid assessment too. So fuck it. I mean, like I said, going into this, I hope I'm wrong. I will never be more gratified saying that I'm wrong than I will be someday when we do this again and say, hey, Voodoo, you're right. Shit, one of my heroes fucking gets to live to see another day. He didn't take too much damage. Fight on, as the great Todd Kenley says of his alma mater of UFC. Fight on. So there we go. So
right.
Speaking of fights, we were very, very considerate of Anthony Pettis, right? And I will be very, very considerate in terms of my assessment of Marcin Tybura, 20-6 record, number 14th ranked heavyweight in the world. Yes. But across from him is somebody that I take no consideration on. I don't want to interview this guy. Don't want to have anything to do with him. The fact that he is in this sport sullies the whole sport of MMA, the good name of MMA. But 7-2, Greg Hardy. And I'm going to go right here on record. I don't want to actually. Let's go because I feel like I'm going to cut a promo. But go ahead, Voodoo. I don't want to take away from you.
Oh man, you can't stand the Prince of War, man.
How the hell is he the Prince of War? That's like Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin calling themselves the world's greatest tag team in their first 6 months with the damn company. What the hell are you doing? Charlie and his brother, Russ Haas, were a better tag team than Shelton. No disrespect to Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, but those two were brothers, right? They were brothers, and then they were a better tag team than the world's greatest tag team, and they're calling themselves the world's greatest tag team. The fact that Greg Hardy calls himself the God of War is a besmirch of everything that is war, right? Anybody that has fought, everybody that has played God of War, Call of Duty, whatever the hell, Spec Ops, Rainbow Six, whatever, Greg Hardy is shitting on your fucking name. sir and or ma'am, whatever you subscribe to. So you know what? I'd say fucking Marcin Tybura Tabora is going to knock out the God of War no sooner than the second round, because that's all I give it credit for. Because if he doesn't knock him out in the second round, what the fuck are we doing, Marcin Tybura? What are we doing? You're Polish. You're Ivan Putski AF, right? You're supposed to hit him with the Polish hammer. Literally and figuratively, knock Greg Hardy out with your Polish hammer. I'm just saying. And you can take that whatever way. You can knock him out with your left. You can knock him out with your right. You can knock him out with your dick. Just knock that guy out. Second round. Otherwise, I'm shutting off until the next fight. I'm shutting that shit down. Because if you need more than 2 rounds to finish Greg Hardy, you being 20-6, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm just.
Oh man.
What are we doing?
Oh. Well, unfortunately, I believe Greg Hardy is gonna win this one.
What?
Yeah.
How?
By split decision. By split decision. Let me break it down for you, man.
Okay,
Let me break it down for you. Yeah. Well, so man, when we look at Greg Hardy, he started off in 2017, in which he ran through 3 people as an amateur, and then he won 3 of his first fights. He immediately was introduced to the UFC from LFA straight to the UFC as a Contender Series. He did 2 fights with the Contender Series. He went to Extreme Fight Night, and then he went straight to the UFC. In his first fight in the UFC, he lost by illegal knee. Right? He got too excited. He was winning, and he hit the guy while illegal knee. He hit the guy while his knee was on the ground or whatever. And then he lost his first match. But then he won 2 matches right after that. But yeah, we do have to admit that these were feeder fights. These were people that he was supposed to beat, right? Even the guy that he lost to, Alan Crowder, he was supposed to beat that guy, but illegal knee, he lost. So now his first true test was Alexander Volkov. This fight was what solidified Greg Hardy to me as a legit heavyweight in the UFC. When he went 5 rounds against Alexander Volkov, and Volkov, who is 30-7, could not defeat this man. He won unanimous decision, but he should have knocked out Greg Hardy. The fact that Greg Hardy was able to remain conscious after 25 minutes fighting this man told me that there's more to this man. There's more to him, and he continues to grow every day. He started in 2017. This is 2019 when he faced Alexander Volkov. So he didn't get knocked out. And I believe he was injured in that fight, during that match, by the way. Then he fought De Castro. He won by unanimous decision. He fought Maurice Green, who was terrible. He beat him in the second round, power jab to ground and pound. Now he's got the very experienced Tibur Tibur. Tibur Tiberius is a very, 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 very experienced heavyweight. He's fought the who's who. He's fought the Fabricio Verdum. He's fought the Andrei Arlovsky. He's fought the Derek Lewis, Stefan Struve, Augusto Sakai, Ben Rothwell. He's fought everyone. But the only thing that they all have in common is they're all flat-footed. They're all flat-footed. Greg Hardy is not going to stand there and trade punches like heavyweights do. Greg Hardy, for a heavyweight, he's a dynamic striker. You know why he's a dynamic striker? I'll tell you why he's a dynamic striker. Because dynamic striking was the first thing he learned. He's also a teammate of Pettis. They're from the same team, I believe. I believe they're from the same team.
Tybura?
Greg Hardy.
Greg Hardy's in South Florida.
Oh, okay. I could have sworn they were training together at some point. But anyways, Greg Hardy's got dynamic striking. He moves his feet. He doesn't stop moving. He bounces, For a heavyweight, this is very difficult. to continue to move that large frame nonstop. This is what's going to keep him from getting taken down easily. This is what's going to keep him from getting knocked out easily. And he will hit and not get hit most of it. I mean, he's going to get hit. He's going to get grabbed. But primarily, Greg Hardy is going to control this fight simply because he has very good footwork. And that's attributed to his football background. You know what I mean? He can move in a lateral motion because he used to be an offensive or defensive lineman or whatever he did for the Dallas Cowboys. He was a Dallas Cowboy lineman. So he's got lateral movements. So when he transitions to MMA, the lateral movements came with him, which is a great, great skill to have, especially in the heavyweight division. That footwork makes him a dynamic fighter. Now, is he a complete fighter yet? Is he completely dynamic? No, but he qualifies as dynamic because he's got that footwork. He can kick and he can punch. You know, he can throw elbows. He can throw knees. He's got flashes of greatness. Now, where he goes is up to him. But in regards to his current opponent, he's got what it takes to beat his current opponent if he can put it together properly. So I'm going to bet on Greg Hardy to win this one by split decision. And the only reason it's split decision is Tiberius will be able to take him down. He won't submit him, but he will win some of these matches on the ground. But Greg Hardy will get up, he'll find his way up, and he'll control the standing. He's going to look better striking than his opponent.
Okay. I mean, that's... Talk about Greg Hardy.
Greg Hardy.
Okay. We'll see. I don't know. I got nothing. I literally fucking took out my breath trying to adequately put Greg Hardy in a light that isn't the drizzling shits.
Yeah.
I mean, Yoran De Castro is in the UFC.
Yeah.
He looks like Beetlejuice, like a grown-up version of Beetlejuice from Howard Stern. He's in the UFC because, again, just like you said, right? They needed to be a feeder, right? Essentially, if Greg Hardy was Hulk Hogan, right? Greg Hardy is Hulk Hogan, and you needed a monster factory. And we had Yoran De Castro. Go ahead and Google Yoran De Castro. That is not a dynamic striker. That is not a dynamic anything other than Yoran De Castro. I think he might even lose to the Japanese dude that was doing the hot dog eating contest. Like, and I'm not even getting into that atrocity of a fight that we saw on Fight Island between Yoran De Castro and Carlos Felipe, which, I mean, again, talk about the drizzling shits. I mean, but it's weird to say, they, as mixed martial artists, right? They don't have pedigrees in other sports, much like Greg Hardy. Right. But still, Greg Hardy seems to be greater than them, right? Yeah,
he's an athlete.
Yeah,
he's an athlete.
Yeah, Yoran De Castro probably couldn't even kick Kobayashi's ass in terms of competitive eating, but yet has the body for it, right? He's not whooping anybody's ass in MMA, right? Definitely not Greg Hardy's ass, which, whatever. So, again, I hold you responsible, Greg Hardy, for the fact that Yoran De Castro is a member of the UFC as of December 17th, 2020. Obviously, antitrust lawsuits and, bloodletting cuts of the UFC, that be damned. But as we sit here, and we're going into Christmas, right? We're going into Christmas, right? Like, I don't think anybody's getting cut before Christmas. So we have him as a Christmas present. Yoran De Castro exists on the UFC roster because of Greg Hardy. He needed somebody to be fed to. So, good Lord.
shout, shout out to Greg Hardy for
Shout out to
another.
Rusty fucking pitchfork that Greg Hardy can spit on. He popsicle the shit out of himself. My goodness. This is my Clark Griswold. This is my hallelujah. Holy shit. Greg Hardy. Just saying. So Jelly of the Month Club for Greg Hardy is what I'm saying. Fucker. Yeah, so there you go. Tybur, again, second round KO, or I question your validity. Oh, allegedly.
Yeah.
Shaman Steve says allegedly. All right, allegedly. 100%. Shout out to Shaman Steve. Allegedly. I'll go with that. But yeah, so again, if Tybur doesn't knock out Greg Hardy in the second round, what the hell does even Tybur? Tybur should be cut from the UFC. Just saying. So good, good riddance, you loony. Greg Hardy, bye. Adios. Bye, Felicia. I don't know. I got nothing. Save this show. Because I think, please save this show, Voodoo. But I guess let's go up. Because I'm tired of talking about Greg Hardy. So we got total disclosure, folks. We've got Canada's Jillian Robertson, who sports a 9-4 record. She is the number 12th ranked flyweight in the world, right? And she's got wins. Obviously, 9-4 doesn't get here just all willy nilly, but the Savage has basically exhibited her savagery over Courtney Casey, over Poliana Botello. Veronica Mercado is, on ESPN on number 3. She beat the meatball Molly McCann in 2018 and Emily Whitmer in 2017, essentially putting her in that Ultimate Fighter 26 finale. So, on the opposite end of the cage is, holy hell, I think, to me, is Jillian Robertson's toughest challenge to date in the Brazilian, Talia Santos. Talia sports a 16-1 record. She also beat Molly McCann in her last outing. That was in July 15th of 2020 of this year. She lost to Mara Borella, but then beat Estefani Alameda on Dana White's Contender Series back in 2018, right? But all of her wins seem to be on the Brazilian regional circuit, fighting on such cards as Aspera FC, as well as Nochi Combat 1, right? So, but again, this is Brazil, right? It's not like she's fighting in. Brazil and MMA are synonymous with each other, right? So, the fact that she has 16 wins, a lot of it has been, on the Brazilian regional scene, and then she's able to mimic, if not duplicate, that success in the UFC to maintain only one blemish in her career. That tells me all you need to know, right? So, nothing against Jillian Robertson, but I'm going with the Brazilian, Talia Santos. Probably by, let's see what we're going with. I'd say unanimous decision. Let's go with that.
Yes. I kind of agree with you. She's going to win the striking war. Robertson, very, very good jiu-jitsu artist, right? I'm sure she can strike as well, but her bread and butter is submission. She's got lots and lots and lots of submissions. Let's check out ways that she's won. She's won via, let's go all the way back. Armbar, rear naked choke, decision, armbar, unanimous decision, rear naked choke. punches and elbows. Okay, so that means ground and pound. Finish him off. Rear naked choke, armbar, right? Very consistent with the rear naked choke and the arm bars. She seeks your arm and she seeks your neck, right? But then she's going up against, she's a savage by nickname, but she's going up against a Talia Santos, who is a savage in reality. Savage in reality. Okay. Now, how does she like to win? Head kick, knockout by hands, elbows, key lock, punches, doctor stoppage, head kick. So you've got a Muay Thai devastator upon your hands. Okay. So now we've seen this before, a Brazilian who doesn't have jujitsu. Is it possible that Santos here has no jujitsu as well? She does have high striking, but I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't have jujitsu. So I'm seeing her opponent, Robertson, immediately seeking the takedown, clinch on the fence. You're going to see a lot of Santos trying to peel off the sticky Robertson. You know what I mean? The sticky savage. It's going to be a lot of that. It will pay Santos. It would do her well to keep the fight in the center of the octagon. If she can keep her opponents back to the cage and she's at the middle of the octagon facing the cage, then she has a very good chance of winning by unanimous decision. But it's not going to be an easy fight for her. If she has terrible cardio, then she will be submitted. But if she can continue to defend against the takedown, then she will win this by unanimous decision or possible knockout anytime in the first, second, or third. She's got that kind of power. But I don't see her knocking out her opponent, Robertson. I don't see her knocking out her opponent, but I do see her punishing her opponent. I see that, but I don't see her knocking her out. So I see either a split or unanimous decision in Talia Santos's way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. So this is a consensus pick. Talia Santos for a decision victory over the savage Julian Robertson. And again, nothing against Robertson. I'm just saying, you just look at the pictures on Tapology, folks.
Mm-hmm.
It tells the story. I would be scared of Talia Santos. I am scared of. I'm legitimately scared of Talia Santos and what she is capable of. So we are going to see that against a literal savage. So we shall see how it comes. But unanimous decision, I got that way too. And I think Julian Robertson, her face is going to get rearranged. I mean, I think that's going to happen. Look at Santos. Good Lord. Yeah, it's not going to look pretty. Not going to look pretty.
I don't
Can't
see
put
it.
maple syrup on that shit at all.
There you go.
So
There you go.
there you go. There you go. But in the 135-pound division, we have former World Series of Fight bantamweight champion, 20 and former UFC title contender, the magic one, Marlon Moraes, who sports a 23-7-1 record, is going on against Rob Font, who sports a 17-4 record. The number fourth ranked bantamweight in the world in Moraes against Rob Font, who's number 9th ranked bantamweight in the world. Now, I will say, Rob Font, a lot of people are pegging him to win. UFC essentially did a YouTube piece on their YouTube channel on the New England cartel, which Rob Font as well as Calvin Cater essentially train at. Right? They train in the New England. I can't remember where, but definitely in Massachusetts. I want to say, right? But they were saying like out
Boston,
of those,
Massachusetts. Yeah, Boston.
yeah. So both of those guys, and Calvin Cater and Rob Font, their manager essentially are building a dynasty around those two and bringing in people because they want to establish New England MMA, especially New England Cartel, which I believe their gym name is, is essentially one of the top gyms and that touting the the world's best prospects coming
Hmm.
straight out of New England, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
to me, I just think that they're looking. The UFC is looking already past Moraes, who
Hmm.
at a time, I mean, he was. I don't want to say he was UFC's golden boy, but
Hmm.
he was. There were some marketing materials, in terms of cold hard cash that were put in Marlon Moraes, and it seems like those have been thwarted in his last couple of outings.
Hmm.
So I don't know, man, but I think Rob Font essentially, I think he might win. I think he might beat Moraes, and I think it'll happen. I mean, it'll be a grind out. I think it'll happen. It had to be a because look at Moraes. Last his last loss to Corey Sanhagen, that happened with a wheel kick, right? Um, Otherwise, I mean, he was on a like a literal like a two promotion win streak, right? Because
Hmm.
World Series of Fight, he beats Tyson Nam by first round a TKO.
Hmm.
Then he goes. I mean, he runs roughshod all through World Series of Fight. Now it's PFL, right? And then
Hmm.
comes over to the UFC in uh, in 2017, loses
Yes.
to Rafael Assunção. But I
Yes.
mean, his whole World Series of Fight run, he, so
Flawless.
flawless, right? He
Hmm.
wasn't defeated at all, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then he goes essentially after that Rafael Assunção loss, he rebounds. John the Magician Dodson, right? Magician versus magician.
Hmm.
Then he wins over Aljamain Sterling, Jimmy
Hmm.
Rivera,
Hmm.
Rafael Assunção. He gets that win back, and then he loses to Henry Cejudo, right? But then wins against Jose Aldo. A lot of people thought that Aldo won, but
Hmm.
that was a split decision, and then loses to Corey Sanhagen. And it's
Hmm.
weird that we're counting Moraes out, at least the UFC is, because he's only 32, right? And he's gone on two notable win streaks in his career, right? So
Yes.
I don't know. I still think Font is going to win, but damn Marlon Moraes. And I can't
Yes.
believe I'm
Yes.
picking against Moraes.
Well, I mean, I can understand why you're picking against Moraes because the competition against him is fierce. The style of the fighter that he's going to be fighting is the type of fight that he least performs well against, right? Um, Marlon Moraes, he's very good with that left high kick. If Fonts can watch out for that left high kick, then he can be in position to win this match. He's going to have to bring a lot of pressure. When we look at uh, who what was that guy? Qatar. When we look at Qatar, he's the type of dude that stays in your face and he brings that pressure. And understand that Font is gonna bring the same style of striking with his own little twist to it, but he's gonna be in your face. Sandhagen, when he beat Moraes the last time, he remained in his face and he didn't budge. He blocked that left high kick. He was careful of the left high kick, but he kept the pressure. See, Moraes has this thing about cardio. This is exactly how he lost to Henry Cejudo. He got tired, and once everybody knows his Achilles heel, all they have to do is pressure him, and he's gonna get tired by the end of the second round. And in the third, I see Font winning that fight. He's gonna Moraes is gonna win the first round, more than likely, but the second and third is gonna go to Font. All Font has to do is maintain pressure, you know. And I'm sure that Font's team are wise enough to understand this. If you put the pressure on Moraes, he's gonna get tired. So I'm looking for Font to win the second and third and winning this fight by split decision. I don't see him knocking out Moraes. I don't see that happening. If anyone's gonna get knocked out, it's because Moraes knocked out Font, but at the same time, I don't see Font being stupid enough to drop his right hand and getting kicked in the head with that left leg. So the most dangerous part of Moraes is his left high kick. His weakest part is his cardio, and Font wins this one by split decision.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I like that. So that's a consensus pick. We're going split decision, Rob Font, which again, it's a kind of fall from grace for Marlon Moraes. It sucks, but it is what it is. Like the kids say, man. But one thing that is happening is Michael Pieta of Brazil, 24-11 record. Right? He has. I mean, this is like close to 40 fights in his career. He's the Demolidor. So I'm gonna say that's the Demolator. That's what I think. And he looks like he's cut out of granite. But he's essentially, I mean, he's had a career in both the UFC, in Road FC, in China, arena fight, all throughout Shooto Brazil, XFC. I mean, this dude has been all over the place. And he's only, holy hell, he's only 27. He's only 27.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's crazy. He's only 27 and 24-11 record. But even crazier is you standing on the other side of him is the 11-1, the Ox Rider, Chaos Williams. And Jesus Louises, somebody's going to get knocked out. And I don't know who, but somebody's going to get knocked out in this one.
Well, this fight, chances of Chaos winning this fight is a lot higher. The Ox fighter, chances of him winning this fight is a lot higher than the Demolitioner, his opponent. What's the man's name? What's his name?
He is Michael Pieta.
Michael Pieta. Chances of Michael losing this fight is a lot higher, and the reason is this: Michael Pieta, he seeks to entertain, which is great. You're supposed to entertain. You're supposed to entertain as a fighter. You're supposed to entertain the audience. But the way he to entertain is more cardio consuming than anything. I mean, I love the fact that he does the backflips in the cage. He does the backflip off the fence. You know, he wants to be flashy. You know, all these things are great. They're great, but there's a time. There's a time to do these things. Don't just do it just to do it, right? He reminds me of what's that other guy's name? He was getting a big push. Johnny Walker. He reminds me of Johnny Walker. Unnecessary moves, lots of unnecessary movement, cardio consuming type movement. You know what I mean? And I believe this is gonna be Michelle's downfall. All those unnecessary movement. Chaos William, don't get me wrong. He's gonna take some heavy shots on his way to victory. He's gonna take some heavy shots. But Chaos William has to stick to his boxing. Boxing is gonna be the key to the win here. Occasional kick to the leg or whatever. Michelle's gonna do lots of moving. It's lots of spinning kicks. He's going to attempt to force dynamic movement. See, that's his problem. He's trying to force dynamic movement. You can't force it. You just gotta be about it. It's gotta flow. It's gotta flow. You cannot run into the ocean and expect to win. You gotta flow with the ocean. You gotta go in the water and then turn around and ride the ocean wave. But Michelle is a strong guy, and he's able to run into the ocean and bang against the ocean, right? But when you bang against the ocean, sooner or later you're gonna lose. The ocean always wins. 75% of the world is water, and that's the ocean, right? Sooner you might be able to do something against the ocean. You might, but then in the end, the ocean loses. Now, Chaos William has to become the ocean. He has to become the ocean, and he's got what it takes to defeat this man. Michelle. She's got to go to the body. Every chance you get, go to the body. Sooner or later, he's going to drop his hands and then take out the top off with his head. Chaos William wins this one by split decision if he doesn't get the knockout.
Yeah, I don't not see. I mean, it's weird. Like I don't. Chaos Williams is exactly that. He's pure chaos and carnage. So I just I think Chaos Williams. To me, I think either way it goes, whether it be Michelle or Chaos, somebody's getting knocked out.
Chaos. This fight is going to show the UFC exactly what Chaos William is made of because it's a special fight. See, Michelle has very good movement. He does a lot of unnecessary stuff, but he's got very good movement. You're not going to catch him in the same spot for a very long time. You know, he's not going to do that Muay Thai thing. He's bouncing off the walls. You know what I mean? So Chaos is going to have to use excellent footwork and cutting off the ring. Cutting off the ring, backing him into a corner, and then going to work. It's going to be a lot of cutting off the ring. Do not follow this man because if you follow Michelle, he will knock your block off. You got to cut across. Cut across is the key to beating Michelle. If he's able to maintain eye contact, keeping that line of symmetry between him and Michelle, he will be able to beat Michelle very, very easily. But if he follows him around in a circle, he's going to lose. He's going to lose, and he's going to lose bad. Because Michelle is very well equipped with turning back kicks, spinning heel kicks, a spinning back fist, elbows, knees, flying knees. He's got all these dynamic tools, but yet he is not a dynamic striker because those tools do not come when they're supposed to. He forces those tools, and this is why I cannot give him the not dynamic label yet. You know what I mean? He's got dynamic tools, but he's not a dynamic striker because it doesn't flow freely. Not yet. Not yet. And when he does learn to make it flow freely, a lot of people are going to be in trouble. You said he's 27? So he's still very young. He's still growing. By the time he hits 29, 30, oh my goodness. Watch out for Michelle. But right now, Chaos has a recipe to dismantle Michelle. And it could be in a very savage way. That knockout, that not either to the body or to the head. I don't know which one it's going to be, but Chaos has that. He has that equalizer, that power in his hand to make it happen. So I'm going to go with Chaos, either by split decision or he got the knockout. One of the two.
I agree. I'd say Chaos knockout third round. You might even. You know what? First.
Well, see, Chaos is he's got the power that he's got. Even if he's tired, he can still knock you out, right?
Yeah.
So it could be first, second, or third, right? That knockout could come at any time. I don't see it coming in the first simply because Michelle's still going to be very fresh because he's going to be running around, man. He's not. I mean, we all know Chaos got power, right? And for Chaos to knock you out, that's because you stood there. Michelle doesn't stand still, right? And Chaos has to cut the distance in such a way to knock him out in the first round. He's gonna have to cut the distance in such a way that Michelle's never seen it before, right? So I'm banking on Michelle being tired when Chaos goes for the knockout, right? He's gonna have to work hard to get this knockout if he wants this knockout, and he's gonna take a lot of beating. It's gonna take a lot of hits, a lot of heavy shots. He's gonna walk into some things, right? To cut the distance and move in to a point where you can strike him with your hand. You're gonna have to move forward, and in moving forward, this is what Michelle's waiting for, right? You're gonna see like those turning back kicks, those whip kicks. You're gonna see those things. He's gonna throw those things to try and discourage Chaos from moving forward. But if Chaos is smart, he'll be able to figure it out. And possible knockout no later than the third round. But I think it's going to be a split decision window.
I like it. Well, one thing that I like is the fact that we are at the co-main event of the evening.
Let's go.
We have former WEC bantamweight champion and inaugural UFC bantamweight champion Jose Junior Aldo against I'm never gonna call him Marlon. He's Cheeto Vera, man. He's Cheeto Vera. And this one, oh my gosh, like I'm so conflicted. I've went back and forth in my picks because like we know Cheeto, Cheeto is essentially a SoCal guy. I mean, not originally, obviously, but now is a SoCal guy training out of Team Oyama. And this could be the biggest win of his career. But so to it, I mean, the legend that is Jose Aldo. And again, Jose Aldo, he's not that old. Like, he's barely like in his mid 30s.
35, 35.
Yes, we're the same age. So I feel like good lord, I feel like I haven't accomplished shit when it comes to Jose Aldo is a year younger than I, and yeah, man, like that's what that dude did. So fucking hey, man, I don't even know if I can pick on this one. I want to hear what you have to say because my heart is like broken either way.
Well, this is a special fight. It's a special fight because it has a special fighter in Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, aka the King of Rio. This man has been in the game since 2004. He started off with 2, 4, 6, 7 fight win streak, and then he lost to Luciano Azevedo. I believe he got submitted, and then he went on a tear. He lost that one time, then he went on a tear. He ran through everyone in Brazil. He went to Japan and beat Shoji Maruyama, destroyed him, unanimous decision. And then he went into the WEC. In the WEC, he introduced everyone to the leg kick. Everyone, everyone got destroyed. Alexander Nogueira, Jonathan Brookins, Rolando Perez, Chris Mickle, Cub Swanson, 8-second knockout, double flying knee. I guess he hit him in the eye, destroyed his eye. And now he's got the title shot against Mike Brown, the champion. He beat the hell out of Mike Brown, took his belt in the second round. Uriah Faber, California kid. They thought Uriah might be the one, right? They brought the next best thing, Uriah Faber. He got dealt with. If you saw, go and search up Uriah Faber's thigh after
Jose Aldo, yeah.
Jose Aldo got done with him. I think he must have been kicked some 20 plus times. His whatever leg it was, I believe it was his left leg was twice the size of his right. Purple from hip to calf. The man got destroyed. He got destroyed. I do not know how he was able to finish that fight, but Jose Aldo won that fight by unanimous decision. He went in there against Manny Gambarian, knocked him out. Mark Hominick in the UFC, destroyed. Oh, by the way, now the UFC acquires WEC. Now, Jose Aldo, since he was a current champion at this weight class, featherweight, he was gifted the belt by the UFC. Carry on, Jose. Keep mopping fools up like you've been mopping them up. Carry on. They handed him the belt, and guess what he did? He ran with it. The first victim was Mark Hominick from Canada. Destroyed him. Kenny Florian destroyed him. Chad Mini Mendez destroyed him. Frankie Edgar destroyed him. Chong Song Jung. This one was it was very competitive until Chong Song Jung dislocated his shoulder. And then he had to lose. Ricardo Lama destroyed him. Chad Mini Mendez, second fight. Beautiful, beautiful fight. Beautiful. Chad Mendes came for this fight. He came and he showed up. But in the end, unanimous decision win for your guy, Jose Aldo. And then he ran into McGregor.
Yep, of course.
He ran into McGregor, and that was the end of the reign, the champion's reign. Now the man reigned from what? From 2000. Well, he became champion in 2009. He reigned from 2009 all the way as champion to 2015. Then he lost to Conor McGregor. He lost his title. He faced Frankie Edgar again, beat Frankie Edgar again to get the title shot against Max Holloway, the current champ at the time. Oh, it was for the vacant title. It was for the vacant title.
Yeah,
Yes.
one partner.
So
Yeah.
Max Holloway won the title. People weren't really sure, right? So they went at it again. Max Holloway beat him again. Now this time he beat him convincingly. So that was the end of the champ. Now he came back against Jeremy Steven. He took out Jeremy Steven with a liver punch, a hook to the liver. He beat Moicano. And then he faces Alexander Volkanovski on Volkanovski's way to the title. He lost to Volkanovski. He lost to Marlon Vera. But we all think he won against Marlon Vera, but he lost against Marlon Vera. He was scheduled to fight Henry Cejudo, but the fight was canceled. Henry Cejudo leaves the title. The title is vacant. Petr Yan versus Jose Aldo. Petr Yan won that fight. Now Petr Yan is the current champ. Now we have Marlon Vera. Marlon Chito Vera, right? It's the Chito show now. The Chito show. Now, Marlon is a very, very, very hardworking man from a third world country. Where is he from again? He's from he hails from Ecuador. He's from Ecuador. He's from Ecuador. Chito has been doing his thing. Chito, comes from a third world country. The man is gifted, so it's only fitting that his first 2, 4, 6, 7 matches undefeated, right? He lost by unanimous decision to Bruno Lobato. Then he went on a 2-fight streak. Now he's in the UFC, Ultimate Fighter House. He beat Henry, but he lost to Marco Beltran on the pay-per-view, UFC 180. He beat Roman Salazar by triangle, but he lost to Devin Grant by unanimous decision. So he's losing, but he's not really getting outclassed. These fights are close. These fights are very close. But then he went on a 3-fight win streak. But then he lost to John Lineker. He lost to Douglas Andrade. But then he came back with 2-fight win streak, 3-fight win streak, 4-fight win streak, 5-fight win streak. Then he lost to Yadong Song. That fight versus Yadong Song, I saw him piecing up Yadong Song. I think the judges made a mistake and gave the win to Yadong Song instead of Marlon Vera. But even the UFC acknowledged that the judges had no idea what the hell they were doing on this night because Yadong Song was bleeding, cut up. He got pieced up that match. But, the referee, when you leave it to the referee, this is what happened. And then he got his shot against the Golden Boy, Sean O'Malley, Sugar Sean O'Malley. He immediately initiated the calf kick. The calf kick rendered O'Malley's leg useless. The ankle was just flopping. He couldn't really walk. And then your boy went in for the kill. He finished it with elbows. Mounted elbows, right? Put him out. KO. Now he's got Jose Aldo. Now, I am picking Chito Vera to win this match. Not because Jose Aldo is old or whatever. Jose Aldo has gotten away from what got him to the match, what got him to the table, what got him his championship, what got him his undisputed ranking. He got away from the leg kick. If you look at his last 5 fights, how many leg kicks did he throw?
Not many.
About it. Not many. Why? I don't know why. I don't know why he's not throwing his leg kicks. And if he's not throwing his leg kicks, Marlon Vera is going to throw his. Maybe Marlon Vera throwing his leg kicks will initiate what's his name? Jose Aldo to start throwing his kicks. But Jose he's doing his boxing thing. I don't understand why he's doing his boxing thing. I mean, he's a very good boxer, don't get me wrong. But perhaps it has to do with his cardio. Oh, and by the way, Jose Aldo has gone down to 135. He left the 145. Now he's gone down to 135, which is 10 additional pounds that he didn't used to have to worry about. Before, he was sucked up, but now he's even more sucked up. But he's doing it the right way. He's dieting down. So that's a plus. He's dieting down, and according to him, he's looking good. He's looking good. His last two matches, has been at 135. So he's able to make the weight. He'll make the weight again. But how effective is he going to be against a young Marlon Vera who's hungry, right? They're both from a third world country. But Marlon ain't getting, Jose Aldo has seen at least $2.5 million, right? Marlon has yet to see $1 million. He's seen about, $400,000, but he's still hungry. He's still seeking the mountaintop. Jose Aldo's been on the mountaintop for many, many years. He knows what it's like. He'll take a title, but even if he loses, he's gonna make significant money. So Jose's set. Marlon is not set yet. For Marlon to really get paid, he's got to win. He's got to get his show money and his win money. So he's got to beat Jose Aldo. He's got more incentive to win than Jose Aldo does. So, and Jose Aldo, he's got all the miles on him. Even though he's 35, he's really 50 years old in fight years. In fight years, Jose Aldo is 50 years old. Even though he's still able to, he's still able to move around like the youngsters. He's old. He's an old man in the cage. His brain has taken a lot of hits. He's been knocked out by a few times, right? So, I'm going with Marlon Vera. Marlon is on the rise. Marlon is disciplined. Marlon is a complete fighter. Marlon kicks. Marlon is Muay Thai based, just like Jose. However, he fights without risk. This is why I like Marlon. Marlon doesn't do unnecessary movements. Everything he does is calculated, just like his entire life. He left home. He left Ecuador, calculated. His plan, he left with like $100 in his pocket. He came over. He found Jason Perillo, I believe is his coach. He found Jason Perillo, and he's been training with Jason. Well, Jason doesn't really train anyone, right? You have to impress him for him to even worry about you. Marlon was able to impress Jason, and now he's training with Jason. So Jason is a calculated individual, right? Look at Mackenzie Dern. Since Mackenzie's been training with him, her striking is improving. Every fight, she's improving. So now we got Marlon Vera, who's training with him now, and calculated coach, calculated fighter, right? Now he's brought his family over. Now he's back with his family. He's a focused man. He's got children to feed. Jose Aldo's children are already fed. You know what I mean? He's got a business. He's making money. His money is making money, right? Fighting for him is not for fun, right? It's more for glamour and whatever. Stardom, right? King of Rio, the persona has to continue, so he continues to fight. Now, will he take the title? Of course he'll take the title, but I don't believe he's as hungry as Marlon Vera. Marlon still has yet to taste the mountaintop. So Marlon is going to win this one by split decision.
I agree. Don McGuire says something with me.
What's up, Don McGuire?
Don McGuire. What's up? And you can check out the Fighter's Voice with Don McGuire on everywhere you get your podcast. So
that's right.
Check him out.
That's right.
So yeah, man, I agree. We got Chino Vera over Jose Aldo. Yeah, that's probably going to happen by a decision of some sort, whether it be unanimous or split. Doesn't matter. Might get a decision. I'm pretty sure. I
got a question for you.
What you got?
If Jose Aldo loses, that's 4 fights in a row.
He gets cut. They've cut Romero.
Does he get cut?
I think so.
Romero was never a champion.
He was
never a champion. Was he? He never tasted interim championship. He didn't make weight.
Oh yes,
he didn't make weight.
That's okay.
He won the fight, but he didn't make weight. That's why he was never champion. So he didn't make weight. Now check this out. Do they fire Jose? I don't think so. This
You
is
don't think
Jose
so?
Aldo. I don't think so.
They're gonna nudge him to retire.
They'll nudge him to retire, yes, but I don't believe they'll release him.
Yeah, they're gonna nudge him to retirement. I'm just saying.
I think I think he's got like 2 more fights on his contract.
Yeah, but they can terminate at any point.
True,
That's
true,
the thing. Yeah. So
true.
I mean, who
But
was the last one that had 2 fights on the contract and they still? Oh, Anderson
Romero,
Silva
Romero,
and Anderson Silva.
yeah, and Anderson Silva, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, and
Anderson
that,
Silva, I can understand.
yeah. That McGuire says I'm not big enough to be on this show. BS. I'm gonna be like Roddy on Price is Right. Don McGuire, come on down. Because he was like, me here. I'm just saying, on Voodoo in the Woods. So just let us know. We take 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and hey, you know what? Sunday. If you're not doing
What's
anything
up?
Sunday,
Let's
just
do it.
saying, 4 o'clock Sunday Pacific Standard Time, just 6 o'clock you out in Missouri. So again, the challenge has been made.
Let's
One
do
by
it.
McGuire. Let's do
Let's
this.
go. Let's
Just
go.
saying. Just
Let's
saying.
go.
But where we're going, what we're going is the main event of the evening. As we have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Jeff Neal. And my goodness, like Jeff Neal KO. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just I'm over Wonder Boy. I'm so over Wonder Boy, and that's because I was there at UFC 209 with Wonder Boy versus Tyron Woodley, and again, I'm a lover of music, right? I've been to many a concerts, been to
Mm-hmm.
many a fights, been to many a pro wrestling match,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never ever heard more boos than that night at the T-Mobile Arena with Wonder Boy and Tyron Woodley headlining the card. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I literally have the lanyard here. And it was one of the times that we were supposed to have, obviously, the much maligned Khabib versus Tony Ferguson, right? That was supposed to
Mm-hmm.
happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was March 4th back in 2017. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I was there. That match. Did you watch that match, Wonder Boy versus Woodley, on pay per
Yes, I
view?
saw it. I saw it. I saw
Okay,
it.
what
I saw
was
it on
your
pay-per-view.
assessment of that?
Well, when you have a dynamic striker, a born dynamic striker, Wonder Boy Thompson has been dynamic before dynamic came to the UFC. When you have a dynamic striker like Wonder Boy Thompson, you've got to fight him the way Tyron Woodley did. I mean, otherwise he'll get knocked out. It had to be ugly and disgusting and despicable, and the type of fight that when you remember, you get upset like you are right now, and you feel disgust. You taste disgust in your mouth. And this is the only way to beat a Wonder Boy Thompson, unless you flash knock him out like Pettis did. But if it's gonna be a war of attrition, it's gotta be a disgusting match, the type of match that you want your money back. It's got to be like that to beat a Wonder Boy Thompson. You know what I mean? If you try to make it an exciting match against Wonder Boy Thompson, you're gonna go to sleep. You're gonna go to sleep. I mean, many folks have gone to sleep. Many folks who are qualified. I mean, speaking of going to sleep, let's take a look at some of the folks that's gone to sleep. Let's take a look at Wonder Boy Thompson real quick. Let's go back to the beginning of his career. The man said, first of all, the man started off in kickboxing, right? He was an undefeated kickboxer. So, how many kickboxing matches did he have? He had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 12. 12 kickboxing matches, and damn near every last one of them was a knockout. Let me see. Unanimous. The first one is unanimous decision. Then he learned KO, disqualification. His opponent, he won that one because his opponent got disqualified. KO, unanimous. Those must be tough fights. Head kick KO, kick, KO. Arm injury. He kicked someone in the arm, broke their arm. KO, KO. Uh, win, 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 win. And then he came into the UFC. Diaz versus Condit. Remember that fight when Diaz
Yep.
was like, "What we doing, spinning shit now?" That's when he came. That right there was a front lead leg KO. He threw a one. No, it was a rear leg. He threw a 1-2 and then delayed head kick KO. I remember that vividly. And then he did that backflip, landed in that pose that was so beautiful. That was what led me to remember him. Then he got in there with Matt Brown. You know Matt Brown. Pressure.
Then you
Matt
remember.
Brown. Matt Brown put it to him. Cut the angles very well and was able to win by unanimous decision. But then he went in there and he beat Burroughs, Clement, Robert Whittaker, knockout, Patrick Cote, unanimous, Jake Ellenberger, Johnny Hendricks, Rory McDonald. These are top of the line folks. He was draw with Tyron Woodley the first time. The second time, majority decision for Tyron Woodley. He beat Jorge Masvidal. You know what I'm saying? He lost to Darren Tills and Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis was on his way to losing that match until he did that Superman punch. Darren Tills is a big dude, cut the angles really well. So Darren Tills was able to beat him by unanimous decision. But then he pieced up Vicente Luque. Pieced him up. It was a highlight reel type match. Leaking him, you know what I mean? But Luque didn't have the footwork of a Darren Till, right? So Luque is more of that brawl type, you know. He'll walk you down, beautiful striking and all, but he's flat-footed. And that's easy pickings for a guy like Wonder Boy. Now we've got Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal, hands of steel, they call him. Hands of steel. The man has been pretty much flawless, damn near flawless. He fought 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 times, and he only lost once as an amateur. He lost to Levi West. And then he won 2, lost 1 to Martin Sano, rear naked choke. And then he was flawless again. Flawless. And then he ran into Kevin Holland at XKO 34, in which he was knocked out. What do we know about Kevin Holland? Kevin Holland is a dynamic striker. Shots are coming from all angles. You know what I mean? So if I was Wonder Boy, that Kevin Holland fight is all I need to watch. I don't need to watch anything else. Kevin Holland and Wonder Boy, they're not the same fighter, but they have similar foundation. So that's the only fight that I need to watch in order to understand how to beat this guy. But then Jeff Neal, he beat Bilal Williams, Walden, Brian Camozzi, Frank Camacho, Bilal Muhammad. That's a very good win for him. Bilal Muhammad is nobody's chump. Bilal Muhammad is a complete fighter. Excellent striking. But he beat him by unanimous decision. He beat Nico Price. He beat Mike Perry, head kick KO. And now he's got Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson, even though he's 37 years old, the guy comes from karate. You know, that excellent footwork. You know, he's been training with his father since he was born. Jeff Neal is very strong and very skilled. He's got 1 roundhouse kick. He's got 1 kick, and that's it. Wonder Boy's got spin kicks. He'll spin. He's got too many kicks. And he's got linear striking. You'll see lots of 1-2s. Not much hooks in there because he likes to keep his opponent at arm and foot length. Neal is going to have to close that distance if he wants to win. He's going to have to close that distance, and he's going to have to cut the angle. He's going to have to pressure him. Put Wonder Boy on his heels. And to do that, he's going to have to move forward. And to move forward, he's going to run into some shots. I don't know. Jeff Neal is up and comer, 13-2. 7-fight win streak, and I believe his win streak is about to be snapped by Wonder Boy. It's unfortunate for him. He's gonna learn from this fight, but Wonder Boy, just the angles, the side kick, the front kick, the front roundhouse kick, the whip kick, the shall I continue? You know? So this is my pick. I'm picking Wonder Boy to win this 5-round war by unanimous decision.
I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
No disrespect, but Wonder Boy is played out. Wonder Boy is played out. Just saying. I was there, UFC 209. We had Mirsad Bektik against Darren the Damage Elkins. We had Albert Morales versus the Thai guy who's now in ONE FC. Again, you had a bantamweight title fight. Because obviously, Habib and Ferguson didn't go down that night, right? That was one of the nights that it should have went down. So again, understand what you're saying, get it, but I'm all right. Like if Wonder Boy wins this fight, I will probably already be in bed. You know why? Because he would have successfully put me to sleep. Not by KO, by the most atrocious ass performance. Again, Wonder Boy could win this fight, and if he doesn't win by KO, if he doesn't knock out Jeff Neal, I would cut him. I'd cut him.
Well,
he's garbage. He's been garbage since 2017, and he's garbage now. Just saying.
Wonder Boy's not on a losing streak, though.
I'm not saying he's not on a losing streak. I'm saying I don't like to watch him. And if this is all about ratings and everything like that, damn wrestling. The pension of why the Olympics exist was getting on the chopping block of getting cut because it didn't draw ratings, which again I think is completely, absolutely ludicrous and stupid and other expletives. So with that all being said, Wonder Boy is how the Olympic Committee views wrestling. Right? Karate was a basis of what the UFC is right now in 2020. Absolutely. Right? It's a strong base, much like wrestling and jiu-jitsu and everything else. That being said, I'm the Olympic Committee chopping off wrestling because it doesn't draw ratings. I am the UFC cutting Wonder Boy Thompson because watching him fight isn't fun. It hasn't been fun since, 2016? It hasn't been fun to watch Wonder Boy for me. It doesn't have to be for you. For me.
Did you see the Vicente Luque fight?
Yes, and I didn't. That was
a highlight reel. It was a highlight reel.
It was like whatever. And Luque no disrespect to Luque, he's not a name that a lot of people cared about. Despite having 13-3-1 record prior to stepping in with Wonder Boy, but I was just like, it was a good fight, and again, maybe I'm just jaded. Maybe I'm absolutely jaded to being in the arena for UFC 209. But there is and the same rant that I'm going on right now, I definitely put that on Tyron Woodley as well, right? I don't want to see either fight. After Aldo and Cheeto, I might just turn the damn thing off. That is absolutely true. I don't. They've skewed me from ever potentially being a customer and watching them fight ever again. That is facts. That is whatever. And he could have 8 KOs. Still, in my mouth is UFC 209. So when I see Woodley, when I see Wonder Boy, on anything. I don't want them to go to Bellator. I don't want them to go to one championship. I don't want them to go to PFL. I want them to stop. I wanted them to stop in 2017. And one was a champion. And again,
Oh my
champion of the
god.
welterweight division. Who was the most notable? Who's the welterweight GOAT? The welterweight GOAT is GSP, right?
Okay.
So again,
Okay.
you put GSP against either Woodley or Wonderboy. Neither man walks away. GSP reigns supreme.
He will reign supreme, but it'll be a boring ass match.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, and the reason why it would be boring is because Woodley and Wonderboy. And again, Wonderboy's
No.
fighting.
No, it's because of GSP. He's gonna take him down and hold him down and hug him the entire match. That's what he does.
Okay. All right. Even so, I don't want to see Wonderboy fight. I want him to retire. I want him to. He can go back to North Carolina and kick the shit out of his dad. Whatever it was like,
Well,
be like,
this particular fight is set up for Jeff Neal to use Wonderboy as a springboard into the superstardom. But I don't know if it's gonna happen though.
I hope so. Jeff Neal, I swear, for all that is holy and everything that is not, knock out Wonderboy, please.
His kicking game is not there yet.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I want Wonderboy to be guarding and Jeff Neal to have this overhand right that'll break his fucking guard and break his fucking face. Just saying.
Hey, Wonderboy doesn't stick around long enough to get touched like that.
I hope he got stuck to the cage. I think like the magnet and his back in the cage that becomes magnetic, and Jeff Neal just fucking just bang, and Wonderboy will go into the wonderment that is his own mind. I don't know. I swear, dude. He's gonna have me fucking cut a Damien Demento fucking promo from 1994. Good lord, I went done with Wonderboy. Please, like, and yeah, Wonderboy is wonderful. He's not a boy. He's 37. What the fuck are we doing?
Wonder Man.
Wonder Man. That sounds even more ludicrous. And the only thing that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has made me wonder is what the UFC will look like, MMA will look like, if Wonderboy wasn't in it. And I like that wonderment.
Well,
100%.
Wonderboy is 37 years old, but he's dynamic. He's dynamic. He's able to adapt to this new wave. This is why he's still around.
You know what? There was a wave that happened March 4th. March 4th, 2017. Right? You know what that wave was?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You suck.
That right there.
I want my money back.
That right there is Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley did that. He caused that. In order for him to win, he had to do that. So that blame goes on Tyron Woodley. Kind of like when Adesanya fought Yoel Romero. That blame falls on Yoel Romero. Okay. You know what I mean? So this is the same thing we had. Like for Yoel Romero to have any chance of winning, he had to do what he did. Make it a disgusting match. And, it turned out disgusting. For Tyron Woodley to have a chance of winning, he had to make it disgusting. It turned out really, really disgusting. 2 times.
It wasn't even disgusting. It was just like, again, it happened in Vegas.
Right.
You're like, what are the fucking million things that I can do but be here? Be here. And it was literally like, you could walk feet from the fucking T-Mobile Arena and find your way into like everything. Fuck, I don't. Shit, man. I swear, Wonderboy's in the wrong business, right? Because you want people to give a shit about you. I do not give a shit about Wonderboy. I mean, I don't want him to die, but I don't want him in my UFC, right? Same thing. Like, I mean, Okay, when I found out Roman Reigns had leukemia, I was like, I don't want the dude to die.
Right,
Right?
but he can go.
Yeah, I don't want him on my wrestling. Same thing with Wonder Boy. I hope he makes a comeback in whatever the atrocity that his boring ass life is in North Carolina. But I don't want him in my UFC. I don't want him in my Bellator. I want him in my PFL. I want him to, you know what? Like Curtis Blades, right? Like
Yeah.
Dana White's response to Curtis Blades. You can teach martial arts to a mini mall in your hometown. That's what I want for Wonder Boy. It's great.
Mini mall, mini mall.
Yeah, assuming those exist. When Wonder Boy retires, which I hope Jeff Neal puts into fruition, Wonder Boy retiring. No, 100%. And then when he does, assuming that the strip malls in North Carolina in 2021 and beyond, that's what I want Wonder Boy to do. Do I want to see it on social media? No. Do I want him to get on award for it? No. I don't want nothing. He doesn't do anything for me. Again,
Yeah.
Wonder Boy is played out. It's played out.
Wonder Boy's played out.
Just saying.
I
Man.
do
So
understand. I do understand. I do understand your feelings, and I do understand the played out comment. I do understand. Um, the UFC is a tough place to perform, man. It's it's a tough place to perform. And not only perform, shine. Not only shine, walk out of the cage with your head still attached. It's a very dangerous place to be. But yeah, it is true though. If you can't handle it, then why are you there, right?
yeah, and,
That's
and
true.
that's the thing. If he wants to perform, again, there's some karate fucking the North Appalachia fucking karate tournament that wants Wonder Boy Thompson. There's the fucking Renaissance Fair that wants Wonder Boy Thompson. There's a damn puppet show that wants fucking what? There's fucking puppetry of the penis. That fucking wants Wonder Boy Thompson. I do not want Wonder Boy Thompson in any form or fashion. So again, if if I'm Dana White and Jeff Neal doesn't knock out Wonder Boy Thompson,
Hmm.
Jeff Neal's getting the boot, 100%. And he's going to be like, "How the hell did I go from a main event slot to being outside of the country, out of the company? You didn't knock out Wonder Boy. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, you're right though. Wonder Boy is a gift to him, an offering. Wonder Boy is an offering to him. So, Mr. Neal, Jeff Neal, you better make do, man. Break bread. Do what you got to
Yeah,
do.
break bread. Turn Wonder Boy into croutons. Damn it. Let's do that and speak now for forever hold your pieces is what
That's
I'm
right.
saying.
That's right.
Uh,
That's right.
but yeah, dude. So we will see. Come you have
Saturday.
Sunday night for UFC Vegas 17. It happens
Saturday
Saturday
night.
on ES. No, but we will be back.
Oh, we will
Screw
be
that
back
show
Saturday night.
because this show, Voodoo in the Woods, will come back right at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday, which may be the final Voodoo in the Woods for the year. We don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. But again, I'm According Woods, and you can find me literally across According Woods on everything. But you can find Voodoo where?
Everywhere. Twitter, Periscope, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Voodoo Maximus. Yes. And by the way, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell while you're at it.
Yep. We want to hit that notification bell. You don't want to hit the Negrofication bell because we're not that. So, with that being said, we are out.